shooting a deer from inside the house while we were having coffee. He literally went and saw that was a deer. Hold on a second. And he raised the window up and shot the deer from the window.
No sense going to all that work when you can just shoot one out the window.
Yeah. So it was an interesting experience because you know, I imagine it's the same where you are. Like it's very rural where they're at, and it's you know, and it's flat, and you can't see any of the neighbors. And that there, yeah. It's like, well, at least I'm on their good side. Who knows what they do with the people they don't like?
That's right. Well, I'm sure they were well aware of where you were at all times. So.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. So
if it appears that my one eye is not looking at you, that's don't be concerned about that because this eye doesn't work.
Right.
And
okay.
so in a camera situation like this, it just drifts off and kind of falls asleep. So if you're going, is he looking at me? Is he looking over there? Or well, you know, I lost it in an accident about 30 years ago. So
right.
Anyway,
okay.
That's the scoop on why one eye is looking at you and one eye is looking at the other direction.
It's fine, absolutely fine. So John, you missed the chat. So Les here has his own cornfields there. So I asked him if he had his own field of dreams and built out that way.
Right.
I do. Yeah. Every year we take pictures of my grandson coming out of the corn.
Awesome. This should be a good chat. I'm looking forward to this one.
Was it because it was supposed to be what Yankees White Sox were playing at the Field of Dreams field?
Yeah, and then they changed it to two other teams. I can't remember which two, but then obviously they had to cancel it altogether because of the shortened season. I would have liked to have seen the Yankees and White Sox play in the Field of Dreams in Iowa. Maybe next year.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, it's of all the kind of gimmicky type things. Like I wasn't a fan of the London series. But I think that the Field of Dreams is a great idea. I think, especially nowadays with the way baseball's going, it's all kind of evolved into like a different package. So I think to go back to that old time pastoral feel of baseball would have been great, but not this year.
So before we get started, John, I was going to ask, have you taken off your jersey since yesterday, or is it just like you slept in it and everything?
No, I haven't worn it since I got back from the game. It's kind of dirty and sweaty.
So I asked that because John won the city championship for his team yesterday.
Really?
The hat, on the other hand, I haven't taken off. Yeah. The team I play for, the Glasgow Comets, won the Glasgow Cup game versus the other team, the Galaxy, yesterday. It was a great day at the ballpark, and I couldn't be proud.
What position you play?
I played an inning at first base, and I played a few innings in right field yesterday. Usually a corner outfielder, but I've been playing more first base and scrimmage games this year to try and get used to the position. Just because it's a position I quite fancy, and I don't quite have the legs to play in the outfield so much now. You know.
Well, all you have to be is good with the stick. They'll put you anywhere. If you're good with the stick, they don't care. They'll find you somewhere on the field. So,
I mean, I get on base via the walk sometimes, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a great hitter.
You don't have to be a great hitter. You just got to be there.
So what's interesting about baseball here in Scotland is you only practice maybe 1 or 2 days a week. So you don't have that built-in repetition that comes in there. So and then you get 1 games on a Sunday. So you may train and play games for about 9 months of the year. But yeah, you it's hard to get experience quickly. So unless you come from a baseball background from North America or Latin America, if you have a cricket background, you can convert fairly quickly. Otherwise, someone like John, and I'm sure he'll tell a story about how he got into baseball, and you just have to pick it up quickly. You have to play catch with whoever's around to play catch with, and that might even involve traveling an hour just to play catch with somebody.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Repetitions would be tough. If you don't have repetitions, that's something that's, tough to pick up if you don't get the repetitions, continuously. So
yeah,
I'm proud of anybody that works that hard to try and play baseball. Good for
gosh.
you.
So before we started the Scottish League, we played the Northern English League. And so that meant like a 5-hour drive to Manchester, Liverpool. And so you get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to meet and then drive 5 hours. And you literally would jump out of the car with a half hour till game time, stretch out, throw a little bit, play a doubleheader, and then finish that game.
Doubleheader?
Yeah, a doubleheader.
Drive home?
Yeah, and then you drive home. Yep.
You guys are nuts.
So, yeah. So, you'd get home. If you're lucky, midnight, there was 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. So you get there, sleep for a few hours, and then go into work.
Hardcore baseball. That's admirable. I have to say that's very admirable. So
it's very much love the game. It's very much grassroots, and the people that are out here are very passionate about it because I mean games for us, Thursdays, Saturdays, Sundays are great because there'll be a day game somewhere that we can watch. But otherwise, games start at midnight for us. So you can't just kind of be a casual fan.
It was like me when my son was in Korea. That was tough to get up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and watch a game.
So which team did you play for in Korea?
Dinos, NC Dinos.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Because there was a huge boost in Korean baseball over here right at the lockdown there because it was the baseball we get. It was on at I think at like 9 o'clock in the morning for us.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of people that were getting very much into the Korean baseball for a while.
It's a crazy game over there. It really is. It's a crazy game. The fans are on their feet. It's like more like a football atmosphere, I would say, at the stadium than it is anything. I mean, it's really not comparable. It is to here. So,
did you ever go watch him play a game?
No, I couldn't get over there. No, his family was over there, and I'm not really well enough to travel that far anyway. So, but. Yeah, his stories of how the clubhouse is over there and everything is quite unusual. So, but they love the game. I mean, they fill the stadiums, and their fans are absolutely rabid too. So, yeah.
We'll have to get your son on, and then he can tell us the experiences of all the minor league travels and playing in Korea and all that.
Well, and then he played winter ball in Venezuela a couple of years, which I wish I would have gotten down there. That was in the days when it was a lot safer to play, But absolutely rabid fans down there too. They're just absolutely nuts for baseball. And they were a lot of those people are fairly poor, and they absolutely just go nuts over baseball. But that's a different atmosphere down there too. He always talked about some of the players coming in and. First thing you did was they have a gun locker, and you'd lock up your gun in the gun locker, and then you'd play the game, and then you'd have to pick it up after the game. Yeah, it was a lot of drinking over there at the games. A lot of drinking.
Right. Okay.
Players drink. The fans are absolutely crazy, and he said it was a great time. So.
Yeah, I can imagine it was probably fun to do, kind of for a month or two in the winter.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. And they loved bringing young American players over that could play. He was a pitcher, and so he played with. I'm trying to think of some of the Venezuelans that would come over here and played major leagues. They'd come home and play just with their local town team like that, just so they would. And he had, can't remember who his shortstop was. Plays third base now.
Shortstop plays the Venezuelan guy.
Plays third base. He was shortstop for quite a while.
I'm trying to think. See, the first person that comes to mind is Alex Rodriguez, but that's just not him.
Yeah, no.
He's Dominican anyway, isn't he?
But I was thinking shortstop to third base, and I was like, all right, who's that going to be?
Yeah.
Let me quickly Google that.
Venezuelan shortstop to third base. You're going to pull up a bunch of guys.
Short.
Yeah.
And
I don't think you're thinking of Luis Aparicio. He was around a long while ago. Cesares Torres, no. He's
who?
Alex Gonzalez, no. Asdrubal Cabrera.
Cabrera. There you go. Asdrubal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He was
I forgot he played shortstop.
Yeah, he was Thad's shortstop when Thad pitched down there. Yeah, that was pretty cool. They have a big age range down there on their team. So there was guys that were in their 40s, late 40s playing, as well as, 18, 19-year-olds. Plus then they'd bring in Americans, and there was no limit. Like in Korea, you could only have 4 players or 3 players on your team if you were an expansion team. But down there, if you could hire them, they brought them in. So, but, yeah, he played for Caracas. They were kind of up in the.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
So sounds kind of like Scottish baseball with the age range, doesn't it? Like you're like that. Yeah. We have boys of 16 and girls of 16 up to people who are in their mid-50s in Scotland.
Yeah.
It's great.
Do you remember that 10-year-old or 12-year-old we had that played for one season?
No.
Oh gosh,
No.
cool.
There's the Caracas. I was trying to show you the Caracas jersey.
Yeah, I saw it. That's cool.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Why don't you introduce us?
Let's get started. Yeah, let's get started. Hello, everyone. In particular, Stephen Loudon, who's watching. He's watching the A's and Asterisks while watching this. It's 2-0 Oakland, apparently. I'm John McKellar of the Glasgow Baseball Comets from the Scottish Baseball National League, and one half of the Ball Caps and Bagpipes podcast. And there's the other half right there.
Hi, I'm Jason Durr, former league president and Baseball Scotland Hall of Famer. I'm also the owner of Dugout Classics, and I'm excited for today's guest. What, you gonna jump in and say something before me?
I was, yes.
Okay, go for it.
Before we go into our very talented guest that we have for the first interview tonight, this is, of course, day 2 of the actual fundraiser. The Negro League Museum fundraiser is live. It started yesterday. Dugout Classics, which Jason mentions, you're doing a raffle. Dugoutclassics.com to pick up a £5 or $6.50 ticket for that, yeah?
Correct. That's it. So there's 2 raffles. There is the prizes that have been generously donated for things there, and we just got a Great Britain jersey up there. Baseball Scotland donated 4 hats, 2 shirts. What else do they do? And then we have the Project 2020 raffle, and that was the 6 cards that were donated by the Project 2020 cards. All of them are autographed, and somebody had asked for the value of those, and a retail value of those is over £1,200.
Oh,
It's amazing, isn't it? And what else is amazing is that we're starting to see a lot of the pieces be revealed that a lot of these artists that we've spoken to are doing for the fundraiser, and they're absolutely gobsmackingly beautiful. Can't wait to start talking to you, Lester. Would you like to introduce yourself right now?
Yeah,
Lester.
My name's
Les, sorry.
Listen, if Lester's as worse as we get today, we'll be lucky. Most people, I respond to, hey. I was talking to mates about the Leicester City game yesterday, and for some reason it's just gotten stuck in my head. I'm so sorry. Leslie Weber goes by Les. Would you like to introduce yourself, sir? Yeah, I'm from Nebraska here in the mainland, and my sister run when it was a game. We convert old baseball gloves into various leather products, mostly wallets, but we do whatever we can use. We got started. I saw so many old gloves that were just being thrown away or discarded, and collectors really didn't want them because they were just full of people's names and the dog chewed on it, or that. So that's how we got started, and we started taking them apart, and we've kind of developed this little business. So yeah, we really enjoy it.
Excellent. I can't wait to really get into things. We like to get into your art, but first off, we like to ask you about your baseball background growing up. Do you follow a particular team? If so, which one? And growing up, did you play? And if you did, to what level and what positions did you play?
Well, when I was growing up, I was talking to Jason earlier. I was a farm boy, and so when I was growing up in the 50s, once you got old enough to work on the farm, you had to quit playing town baseball with the kids. So the only baseball that we really got to play was in the afternoons or on the weekends, So unfortunately, about 10 was the end of my career. So I was a catcher. I liked to hit. I always said that I had to hit a double in order to get to first base. I was that slow. So they used to joke and say, unhook the plow, Les. You'll get there a lot faster. So no, I always enjoyed baseball. Growing up, we didn't have anybody really close. Kansas City is fairly close, but the only teams that we could see on TV were the Yankees. And so I grew up listening to Dizzy Dean and Pee Wee Reese do Yankees games on Sunday afternoon. So awesome. Yeah, the first time I thought everybody, there you go, there you go. I thought partner was a word that everybody used back then, you know. Dizzy would say, what do you think, Pee Wee, partner, you know? So he had quite the colloquial speech, as we would say. But that was my team growing up, you know. Of course, then we were into Yogi Berra and Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris and Whitey Ford and Billy Martin and all those guys, you know. So later on, when I got married after college, we became Cubs fans because my father-in-law was a rabid Cubs fan. So we named my son Thad. There was a black ball player that played for the Cubs. His name was Thad Bosley. Mm-hmm. And that's where we got my son's name from. So, and then we've kind of stayed with baseball ever since. Like I said, he was always very active in growing up and played in junior college and then for the University of Nebraska and got drafted by the Tigers and played in the minor league system there and broke into the major leagues with the Tigers, and then waivers, got picked up by San Diego, spent a year or two there, and then he went up to play with the Toronto Blue Jays. And then after that, you know, their system was kind of so-so, and he had this opportunity to go to play Korea, and so he went over there, and then when he came back, he went back with the Tigers and ended his career with the Colorado Rockies. So you know, we've been immersed our whole lives, our whole family's lives revolved around baseball. I can remember that he was in the junior college World Series the first time for their school, from a school from Kansas. And he missed my daughter's wedding. So, you know, that didn't go over the best, but, you know, we've always said, you know, our whole family revolved around baseball. So, and today he's a pro scout for the Cubs, and so we're still involved in baseball. So, you know, we're pretty much a baseball family now, whether we wanted to be or not. We were indoctrinated. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Appreciate. Go ahead.
Sorry, and normally I ask a question off the back of that, but I'll ask you the same question in two parts. Do you have any favourite memories watching or listening to Yankees games growing up, or going to Cubs games over the years, or particular ball games that stick out? And also, do you have any particular favourite memories watching your son Thad play?
I guess my memories are watching, growing up, or watching the Yankees play, and whoever the Yankees, you know, they were mostly on Sunday afternoons. We got to watch a black and white TV, you know, and listening to Dizzy Dean and Pee Wee Reese, and then sometimes at night we could get radio stations. We'd listen to other teams play, you know. So, but then growing up, when we had kids, you know, yeah, we traveled to Chicago a few times. Went to Wrigley Field, my son and I, and that's my oldest son. My youngest son, he never got to go, I guess. So the rest of us, yeah, always enjoyed the Cubs. So, you know, we're big Harry Carey fans, Ryan Sandberg, you know, Billy Williams. I remember standing outside the stadium in the parking lot waiting for Billy Williams to come out of the parking lot so we could get his autograph. And back in those days, you know, we're from Nebraska, and basically Nebraska is known for Cornhusker football. So we all wear red, you know, with the big N on there. And I'll never forget that Fergie Jenkins came up and we got his autograph, and super nice guy. And then Billy Williams came up and he stopped and signed my son's ball for him. And he said, "Oh, N." He said, "Does that stand for knowledge in Nebraska?" And I said, "Yes, sir, it sure does." So no, that's some of the better times that we had.
So before you go there, I was going to ask you about Nebraska football, because you brought it up. So we had Josh Trout, who's in Omaha. He does his drawings there, and he's a tops artist there. So I'll ask you the same question I asked him. What'd you think of Mike Riley?
Well, we had high hopes for Mike. We did, and when he came here, we thought, he was going to be the guy. I really did. But I think he's an excellent coach, but he's just too nice of a guy for Nebraska.
That's actually funny because that's what Josh said as well. He's too nice of a guy. Like
yeah, he really was. He's just too darn nice. Everybody wanted to love him, but he just I don't know. We were used to Tom Osborne, and then we got into the area of Bo Pelini. He was stomping up and down on the sidelines, and then when Mike came in, he was just like I said. We thought he was too nice. So got a homegrown boy now. We'll see how he does. But
no, the only reason I asked is I went to Oregon State, so Mike Riley teased us off and on. He'd go to play the Chargers and come back, and then go somewhere else and come back. We're always there with open arms, waiting for Mike to come back.
It's funny because our athletic director Bill Moose is from Oregon.
Yeah, I recognize that name. I can't remember why, but I know he is.
Well, I think there was some kind of shady dealings going on with Oregon or Oregon State, and he was somehow linked to them for a while. But I think
that would be the Dennis Erickson era.
Yes, I believe you're correct there.
Yes, where we had a lot of athletes that were really good on our team that never went to any classes.
Well, we had a session with that in Nebraska here too. We had Mike Rozier, ended up in prison, and very, very talented guy. Just couldn't get away from the demons. So anyway, yeah, I was so immersed in Nebraska football when I was in college that I went to University of Nebraska. So I pretty much had my fill of it. So I'm not a huge fan anymore. So.
That's right. I only watch Oregon State when we have a bowl game, so that only happens every 10 years. So I'm okay to throw my support behind them there. Now, if we talk baseball, I'm good. So, and it was actually really interesting because Ramon Mejia, he's a graphic designer from New York. He had done their 2017 College World Series shirts. So I had a nice chat with him about that.
Okay, all right. Did Roman? Did he play for the Colt 45s?
Ooh.
There was a Mejia that played for the Colt 45s back when they first started in the early 60s. And I thought his name was Roman Mejia. I could be wrong.
Quite possibly.
I have crazy thoughts that come into my brain when it comes out. When I hear old players' names, I have all these crazy thoughts that come into my brain.
Well, you're probably right. Like I said, if we're talking like 70s and 80s, I'm all right there. But that's my jam. Yeah. So I know that. So.
Well, I think the Houston Colt 45 started in 1962, as I remember. And it wasn't very long. I think 66 or 67. And then they built the Astrodome. And then, of course, they became the Astros. Yep. We all know the rotten story after that. So
there was a ball player called Roman Mejias Gomez. So close. It was Roman Mejias Gomez was the name of the player.
There you go.
The 45s. Well remembered.
Yeah, well,
That's a long time ago.
My mind is since I got MS, it works in strange ways. I can't remember my name some days, but I'll remember some obscure fact about Bob Feller somewhere. Some crazy stuff. So
yeah,
we really enjoy the oldest gloves. The older gloves. The older the glove, the better is what we do. We do a lot of 50s and 60s and some early 70s, but we really enjoy what's left of sometimes a 20s or a 30s glove. We'll be able to put some of those pieces together and come up with a wallet. So yeah, I try and carry a Bob Feller. Bob grew up probably 150 miles from here over in Van Meter, Iowa.
Mm-hmm. The heater from Van Meter. I know that.
Heater from Van Meter. That's correct. Yeah. So,
cool. Right. So we'll go into the gloves now. So we chatted before. You started off with a farmer. You went into banking. You came down with MS, and then you came into gloves. So what spurred that on to go into gloves?
Well, I had a lot of. I was just one of those guys that if I saw an old glove laying around somewhere, I had to rescue it. If I thought it was had at a flea market or a thrift store or something, you know, or somebody was throwing it out, I'd say, oh yeah, I'll take that. And my wife is beginning to have a fit, you know. She said, what are you gonna do with all these old gloves? And I, you know, my walls in my office can only hold so many. So I'm sure you can see a few of them in the background there. So I sort of concentrated on split finger gloves at first, you know, pre-World War II.
Yep.
And then after that, we decided, well, I've got all these other later gloves, and a lot of them are defaced. You know, they're evidently kids can't remember their name or they can't read or something. You know, they write on them with a magic marker 17 times. You know, Bob, you think, it drives me nuts. But anyway, we started to take those apart, and I said, well, what can I make out of these? And I thought, well, you know, I really don't know anything about leather craft, but I'm willing to learn. So my sister is very creative, and she said, well, I think I can help you. So we started making these wallets, and you know, one thing led to another, and we're both very creative people, and so, you know, we like to do every wallet different. We let the glove tell us what that wallet needs to look like, or if we need to make a purse, or, you know, somebody would say, well, I need a passport this, or I need a badge holder, or I need this, or I need that. We do quite a few customs, you know. People will send us in, well, I've got my dad's old glove. I'd sure like to make something out of it. You know, it's just laying in the basement. And I got one the other day. I wish I had a picture of it. It was a no-Kona glove.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Kona is the only glove still made in the United States, made in Nocona, Texas. And the dog got a hold of it and chewed the fingertips out of it. It was just like the top end of all the fingers were gone.
Right.
And the bottom there, well, it wasn't whole. And she said, could you make a wallet out of that? And I said, well, send it out. We'll take a look at it. And then I sent it, and she sent it out. And I go, oh boy. But I think we'll be able to make a nice little wallet for her. So it's something to remember her dad. So anyway, we do a lot of those kind of things, you know, personal mementos. So, and a lot of people enjoy those. You know, they like to carry. Well, you know, I got this Mickey Mantle. He was my favorite player, you know, when I was a kid, and now and then they whip that wallet out, you know, and they say, look here, this Mickey Mantle, and here's his name, and here's the heel, you know, and there's the eyelets, and we try and leave as much in that wallet as we can. You know, a lot of the wallet makers today, they pull out all the laces, and they don't want to use the eyelets, and it's too hard to mess with that, you know, and you gotta, because they don't fit any certain way, you know, you gotta do each one separate. So that's kind of what makes us different, is each one is completely different. We make anything from a small card holder up to a very tall trucker type of a wallet with, you know, some people still carry checkbooks. So
so I've got my baseball glove wallet. Yeah, see, we got that there. So I won it on Instagram. So I absolutely love it, because I'm not a wallet guy, but I like the card purse there. So,
well, let me tell you what. You leave me your address, and we'll fix you up, both you guys.
Oh, that's amazing!
I can't believe that. We'd love to do that for you.
Well, we'll trade. So we'll send you a Baseball Scotland shirt, because we're getting a couple of those made up, because we're trading.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, we'd love that. You know, that's something that nobody would know. Yeah, you guys like card holders? Is that what you normally use, or kind of rather than a regular bifold wallet, or do you like credit cards? You carry a lot of cash, or?
Oh gosh, man! Like this is my wallet. This is everything I carry there.
That's it. Huh?
Personal one, my personal one, and my shop one. That's all I carry.
Well, we can fix you up. So. You got
no one takes cash here now. Like
no.
It's very close to cash. So obviously,
yeah. You have a favorite player, you guys, when you're growing up? Favorite player?
Oh yeah, Tony Gwynn's mine.
Tony Gwynn? Oh, let me write that down.
Tony Gwynn.
Yeah, Tony Gwynn. Hey, you know what? I have some Tony Gwynn gloves.
Oh, amazing. Oh yes.
Yeah. Tony Gwynn. Yeah, one of my favorites too. How about you, John?
My favorite players growing up were Mike Mussina, David Cohn, and Derek Jeter.
Okay, Derek Jeter. There you go. Would that be okay, Derek Jeter? We can get you a little something. That would be
more than okay. That would be absolutely tremendous. I really appreciate
a lot of
that.
Derek Jeter gloves around. Mike Mussina is a little tougher to get. You know, don't see a lot of those. But there's a million of them.
Moose wasn't exactly the most marketable of people. He was he wasn't a people person.
Yankees.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, he was, yeah. He was, you know, the guy pitched consistently brilliantly for 20 years. You know, it's not something you see often. He might not have ever been a Cy Young winner, but he was always in kind of the top tier. Just under it.
Whenever you thought this guy's done, you know, he's not going to be successful anymore. Well, he'd come rolling back and he'd have a great game when he needed to, you know, when there was something on the line. So
you would get to the postseason, he might have like a poor stretch running in, but then he would pitch you 7 strong innings in a tight postseason game.
Where was this guy? Where was this guy? You know, absolutely. You know, and old Tony Gwynn, I absolutely loved Tony. I really did. And I was heartbroken when after he got into college coaching and then he died. I really was heartbroken because he was, I was at spring training with my son and down in Arizona when he was with, it must have been the Padres. Anyway, he was there doing some work in the batting cage with somebody, you know, and I just stood there like 5 feet away from this guy and listened to him talk about hitting with this young player. And it was just mesmerizing. I just went, you know, I was just staring at him, you know, and he was just the nicest guy in the world. I mean, to talk to, you know, he loved to talk baseball. So, but yeah, I was heartbroken over that. So,
absolutely. I know. I wish it could have been a fly on the wall within the conversations between him and Ted Williams. And man,
yeah, like, wouldn't that been a great, you know?
We could have sat there for hours and just listened to those guys talk.
Yeah, wouldn't that just been crazy? Yeah. Yeah, I always liked the conversation they always said that Mickey Mantle said that he had with Ted Williams about hitting, and Ted was all this technical guy, and do you do this and do you do that? And Mickey, what do you do? And Mickey just looked at him and said, well, I just hit the ball. So, but no, Mickey was, you know, growing up, everybody loved Mickey. When I was a kid, you know, everybody wanted a Mickey Mantle glove or a Yogi Berra glove or a Whitey Ford glove. And if you were a pitcher, you wanted to be Whitey Ford, and if you were a catcher like I was because you couldn't play in a position because you were too slow, you wanted to be Yogi Berra. Or, you know, or Elston Howard. You know, we didn't know any different. We thought they were just players back then, you know. Which I think is why we've really gotten into the Negro Leagues. I've always been aware of that. You know, I'm ashamed of myself. The museum is only 4 hours away, and I've never been there. I'm really ashamed of myself. I'm going to make it a point to, before I die, hopefully, to get down there and actually spend some time there. As we've posted, my son and I, since he's around this year, because he can't travel, so we've posted a lot of Black players in the past, players that you don't recognize their names, and their stories and their personal lives are just absolutely fascinating. What they went through and the hardships that they did just to play baseball, you know, absolutely amazing to me. So, and I did find one the other day. I found an old recording. Somebody was interviewing Satchel Paige. And he was talking about his barnstorming days and how life was on the road and how they used to bring in a truck with a big generator on it, you know, to put up lights that would just light up the infield, you know. And but you couldn't see the outfield. And he was talking about it. The ball went up in the air, you know, you just didn't know where it went. So the guy in the outfield, he'd always carried a ball in his pocket, and the ball went up in he's ordinary, he just pulled the ball out of his pocket. So great stories. Those stories will never be replaced. You know, and those guys are just about all gone now. So the stories are all we're going to have pretty soon, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that sounds like an amazing trip for you and your son to go on. And then you can tell, hey, Bob, I did the fundraiser for you, man.
You know, that would be great. I'd like to meet him. Yeah.
Because somebody said they went and they basically got a personal tour from Bob. I don't know if it was just because he was there and there was no one else around. And
is that right? How cool would that be?
Yeah, they had a whole hour of his time, and he was explaining the exhibits and everything behind it. And I was apparently he's just this warm, friendly guy.
Oh,
can't tell you enough about it. So
I'm certain he is. You know, given what I know about his background, I'm sure that's how he landed in that position of being that type of a guy. So, yeah, we're really happy we made this portfolio. We've also got a couple of Jackie Robinson gloves that we were able to get our hands on. We've been kind of saving them. So we're going to also have those up for sale too this week as well.
I saw that. I can't imagine those are easy to find.
You know, they're not, but they're around. Remarkably, the Caprico that glove company made quite a few of them.
Right. Okay.
And they weren't very popular, but they were more popular than people think. So, and of course, you know, there's a lot of them that are bad shape.
Of course, yeah.
We get. And one thing that I've learned is how to treat that leather and make that kind of come back to life. You know, some of that leather is just so bad, and if the actual ink of the stamping of the name is still there, I've learned several tricks of the trade how to make that kind of name come back out of that leather so that it appears that that looks like a pretty nice glove. When you originally saw it, you thought, oh, I can't hardly even read who that is. So, yeah, that's one thing that I've enjoyed is kind of trying to bring back some of those gloves. You know, the Sandy Koufaxes, those are tough. Joe DiMaggio, we love those. You know, all those old players. You know, there's just not going to be any more of those. So anytime we can save one, we try and do it. So.
Yeah, because I was going through your shop before we'd come on, and I noticed you definitely had it was slanted towards the 40s, 50s, and 60s towards the era players.
Yeah.
I thought that was really awesome. I didn't even know those things existed. So to see those names out there just blew my mind.
Yeah. And they're really, I mean, once you start to, you know, make it a point to look wherever you go to find those kind of things. And also we've kind of got our name out there now, and people will often contact us and say, hey, you know, would you want to buy some of these gloves? And I go, well, yeah, you know, and how many do you have? Well, we got a dozen of them. I said, a dozen of them? Are you crazy? Where'd you find those? You know, I said, well, we've been collecting, you know, or grandpa's got them, you know, and they never were good. And we put them in the garage and they all got moldy. And so, you know, we're just looking to get rid of them. And rather than throw them out, we thought we'd give you a call. And so, yeah, we get a lot of gloves that way. So.
Wow, yeah. That's really cool.
Fun. You know, I'm not going to be a long liver anymore, but I'm having so much fun making these wallets right now and exploring baseball history that it's just, I love to get up in the morning knowing that I can go out into my garage and sit down and look at an old glove and wonder what it was like, you know, and who played with this glove. And when you take them apart, you know, you'll see dirt, you know, and some of the older ones, you know, they're horse hide, and you'll take them apart and there's horsehair, you know, they stuffed in the end of the fingers.
Yeah.
You know, I just find that fascinating. The history is just unbelievable. So if I'm talking too much, let me know, cut me off.
No, it's your show.
It's your show.
I think when you finish up here, you should reach out to William at Huntington Baseball Co. because he manufactures 1920 gloves. And I think you two would have a fascinating chat about gloves together.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Because that's how he started out before he started doing baseballs. He was doing old-timey gloves and that way. And
okay.
You guys would have probably a really fascinating chat together.
Yeah. Maybe we could do something, collaborate on something too. That'd be great.
Yeah, no, William's super cool. He did our baseball Scotland balls. Hold on a second. I got one here. So he's done the box.
Which you can purchase now from dugoutclassics.com.
Okay. So that's Dugout Classics, right?
Dugoutclassics.com. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we collaborated on a baseball there, and they're obviously amazing. He did light blue and dark blue stitches on it. It's got the logo on there, and they're really cool. So
I was looking at some of his offerings last night on his website, and yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff. I mean, the guy is a genius with a ink pen and a pencil and marker to do what he does with those balls. I mean, it's really fantastic. So yeah, I'll have to reach out.
Yeah, please do. Like I said, like he's super nice. Like when we were working together, we were trading messages back and forth. When we had on for an interview, it was a lot of fun to actually see him face to face, and I can't say nice things about William.
Well, cool. I'll get a hold of him and we'll see.
Cool. John, do you want to ask your question? Then we'll open the cards there. So then we're almost out of time. So
yeah, before I do, I think we've got one or two comments here. It's just Stephen Loudon says, John, you've had a shave for the playoffs. That's correct. The ALDS starts tonight, so it's getting serious, and I have shaved for the occasion. It's now 3-0 A's, and Stephen watched Field of Dreams, incidentally, this afternoon. That's all we have in comments. So I'll close up with the same question, Les, that we ask all of our guests that we have on. And that is, as an American and as a baseball man, what do the Negro Leagues mean to you? And how did you come to be involved with the project?
Well, actually, Tad reached out to me and evidently saw our advertisement or something and said, hey, are you interested in this? And I said, well, yeah. I've always been interested in the Negro Leagues. We lost a native Nebraskan here just a few days ago in Bob Gibson. Mm-hmm. And I kind of got started with Bob. My son, when he was about 9 or 10, was in Omaha where Bob was putting on a clinic. And, everybody talks about how cold Bob was and steely-eyed and everything. But, I'm on the field, I'm sure he was. But we got to take pictures with him afterwards, and I wish I'd have taken this picture and given it to you. But I have a picture of Bob Gibson in his uniform, and he signed it personally for me. And then I have 3 pictures of my son sitting beside Bob Gibson with his arm around Bob Gibson's shoulders, and my son was wearing a Cubs coat. and when he sat down, he looked it over at my son and he said, Cubs, huh? And everybody started laughing. It was a great thing. And he was just so nice and so personable to those kids that day. I started getting interested in that. And I've always been interested in baseball. And how can you talk about baseball history without talking about Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson? You just can't. I mean, if those 2 names aren't in the front of every discussion that you have about baseball history, I don't know who is. And of course, once you start with those names, then you begin to unwind the entire history of the Negro Leagues. And then who didn't like to listen to Buck Leonard? I mean, who didn't just love to listen to him talk? So that's kind of how we got involved. And as we've learned more now, we're just too close. We're 250 miles away. We're just too close not to be involved. So really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you guys. It's always great to talk to real baseball people. You can tell baseball people are baseball people. There's just something between us. That we just we could go on for hours, I'm sure. So
yeah, that's been the case for pretty much all the interviews we've had. We've already talked a few times off here about trying to get as many of you guys who have spoken to on the project back onto ball caps and bagpipes to expand on anything we're talking about, because like you say, you could go on all day talking about baseball and telling stories and trading baseball stories and stuff. But the feeling is mutual. Les, I know I speak for Jason when I say this. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you this evening. Before we crack open some cards, would you like to plug quickly your social media and website?
We're at baseballwallets.com on Instagram. We're at baseballwallets.com and whenitwasagame.org on Facebook. And then we have our own website on whenitwasagame.org and baseballwallets.com. So those are our websites. That's where we sell pretty much everything. And if you want to just talk baseball, my phone number is there. Just give me a call. I love to talk baseball with anybody. So again, thank you guys. You guys are just great. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate all what you're doing.
No problem. Back at you, Lester, man. I keep calling him Lester.
Yes, I know.
That's all right.
That's your new nickname. Your new nickname is Lester. God damn it.
That's all right. So We had James Florentino, who's probably the Michael Jordan of sports art. It was just like, oh my gosh, this guy hung out with Ted Williams for a day to pick his brains of his 20 best hitters. And he's calling him Paul. So
yeah, I was watching too much Sopranos at the time. I think I called him Paulie Fiorentino. I don't know.
Oh,
Listen, at least Jason, at least I can remember what we're called though. At the end of the day, like, come on,
I know.
You can't break my balls about that. Right, let's let Les choose a pack of cards to open.
All right, so I've got a pack of cards to choose from. You're going to pick whatever pack you want to open, and we'll discuss the players. So
okay, cool.
87 tops.
Okay.
89 Donners.
Okay.
1990 score. 91 studio. 92 Donners, 92 Pinnacle, and then we've got 93 Studio.
Let's go with tops.
Everyone loves the tops.
The 80s and the 90s were kind of a blur for me because we were raising 3 kids that were 18 months apart. So to be real honest, I don't remember a lot of the 80s.
That's all right. We're okay there. So this is the cards that I grew up with, and I bought a lot of. So we can be all
Good
right.
For you.
We've already kind of had a sneak peek at a few of the players there, so I'm pretty excited at that. But we'll start off with the White Sox, Luis Salazar.
Luis. Yeah. Cool.
Detroit Tigers, Dan Petrie.
You know, I don't know too much about Dan, but I do know his name. Yeah.
We got Terry Poole for the Astros there.
I'm not familiar with that one.
He's Canadian. That's where we go. He's a Canadian guy. There we go. Right. You'll recognize this name, Dave Parker with the Reds.
There we go.
Yeah.
Dave, Big Dave.
So he was 2, 4, 6, 7th in the league in hits with 174.
Yeah.
Tied with Johnny Ray of the Pirates, which I don't remember.
174 hits would probably land you first place these days, wouldn't it?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah. We'd be at the top 3 at least. I think we're 174 hits.
Guy.
So in the Blue Jays, Manny Lee, he was a middle infielder.
Yeah.
All right.
Not
We've got a
familiar.
future star here, but no one's gonna know who this guy is. Tim Przansky.
Tim Pisnarski.
Pisnarski, there we go.
Pisnarski, yeah.
Pisnarski. Okay. So
cool. This is fun.
Yeah, I know. This is my favorite part. So on a Wednesday, I do Wax Pack Wednesday, and I pick a pack of cards and I open it and I try to discuss the players there. So I did.
Oh, cool.
I did a 93 Upper Deck and 89 Donners, trying to pull the Derek Jeter and Ken Griffey. And when this is over again, I'll pick it up. I'm doing 87 Donners because that's got Maddox, McGuire, Larkin, Bonds, and Palmeiro. So, and just see how it goes there. And then after that, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Have those sets.
So, all right, we've got
very cool.
White Sox. Bill Dolly there.
Boy,
all right, played a few years there. He was a middle reliever, so he pitched 4 no hitters in middle school or in high school.
Really?
All right, but we recognize this guy, Fernando Mania.
There you go.
Yes.
He was the last guy before Ichiro to be Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same year, right?
Oh, really? I don't
think so.
But I love the back of this card. So, Fernando visited the White House in 1981.
Of course he did.
Yeah. That's a fact that I would have known.
So I've got John's favorite player, Bobby Bonilla.
There's a story behind that. Yes. We'll get into that off here.
So Bobby plays
paddleball in leisure time. Bobby Bonilla gloves. So.
Oh, right.
Once in a while. Yeah, not very often, but I have seen them. So
I'm going to throw one out there. Do you ever see an Edgar Martinez glove?
No.
I didn't think so, but that would be a pretty obscure find.
I mean, Jason, you need to actually play baseball to have a glove.
We won't start that conversation. That's for another conversation there.
This is a never-ending argument between Jason and I.
Oh,
I
I know.
I'm not a big fan of designated hitters in the Hall of Fame, particularly guys like Ortiz or Martinez, who were either not very good at fielding or played very little field in the field during the kind of prime of their careers. And he loves Edgar Martinez. So
I'm a Mariner fan. How can I not love him?
Well, how can that's right. How can you not? So. But,
I mean, you look at a Jim Thome. He at least was a good first baseman when he had to be, and played a fair amount of first base as well as DHing.
Yeah, he had good defensive skills.
Mm-hmm.
So
Edgar Martinez did not.
Cleveland Indians, Mel Hall. It's not much to say about Mel. He's a Cub. But,
What's his favorite TV show?
No, it doesn't. He said he played little. All right, we got Randy.
Cheers. Spoiler alert. It's Cheers. Randy Myers. Heard of him?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can remember when he played for the Cubs. He pitched for the Cubs there, didn't he for a while?
Possibly. He jumped around quite a bit. So
yeah, kind of toward the end of his career there, he might have been kind of a, I don't know, kind of a back end kind of a guy. I don't remember. I thought maybe he was. Maybe I'm wrong.
Junior Ortiz with the Pirates.
Junior. Yeah.
He's the parent of 2 children, according to 87 Tops.
He's a. Oh, right. I got that. I heard that the wrong way around. I was like, a child of 2 parents. Of course he is.
All right, you'll recognize it. We got Vita Blue.
Really?
Wow.
Now there's a glove that's easy to come by.
Wow.
And a Vita Blue glove has a giant signature on it, just a giant signature.
Right. Okay.
Vita Blue and Bruce Sutter have giant signatures.
Huh. Interesting. So
with a name like Vida Blue, you would hope so.
Vita threw 35 touchdown passes as a high school senior.
It's not bad. Even I know that's good.
There you go. And Lee Lacy for the Orioles, and him and his wife have a son and a daughter. There we go.
Oh, cool.
That's wonderful.
We got a Yankee for you. You'll know this one. Ron Guidry.
Oh,
Ron Guidry. There's a good one.
The big guy. Louisiana Lightning.
Apparently, in his free time, he likes to play the drums.
I didn't know that. I just got done doing. In fact, we might have a Ron Guidry in our selection right now.
Right. Okay.
We like to call it our lineup.
Right.
So if we put a Mickey Mantle on, he's in our lineup now. So.
Right. Okay. What do you got there?
I got to put a plug in here.
Oh yeah. Hey.
That's my son.
Nice.
He pitched a no-hitter in Double-A.
Okay.
That's my plug for my boys.
There you go. We'll have you both on for an interview because I think that'd be awesome to have both you guys on.
Yeah. If we could arrange that would be absolutely amazing. Is that
cool.
the last card? Or have you got
2
more?
cards, and then we got to go. And then
Okay.
that's it. So we got Kurt Ford with the Cardinals. So he majored in recreation administration at Jackson State. And then we got the gum to the back of the card, so we can't eat it. We got Brilliant.
Oh, that was fun. That's a great deal.
Absolute pleasure chatting with you. I'm ashamed we got to cut this short, but we'll definitely chat with you again.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it, and good luck.
All right, man.
If I can do anything for you, make sure that you get a hold of me, Jason. So
I got a note for you. Don't worry. So we'll get that down.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys.
Yeah, no problem.
And you, Les, thanks so much for joining us. Good night.
Have a good one.
Yep.